one last poem that Sarah Pirtle wrote for this gathering. It's sort of about one of her last experiences with Juanita. And then I invite you all to, if you haven't already, there's a guest book here, and if you want to write down a memory or something that you didn't get to share, you can put it in there. There's also a sign-up sheet mailing list. We've talked a little bit about what's the future of this building, and for people who weren't here at the beginning, the Wilman Hill Board will be continuing to figure that out, and there is work that needs to be done on it. David Alfeld is the clerk of the board. If you're interested in being part of that conversation, see him, and put your name on this sign-up sheet, because then we'll be in touch. Let's see what else. Somebody asked about going into the house, and it's probably part of the problem is that the where the stove used to be, the floor under the stove, where the stove used to be, has collapsed. And one of the support beams there has rotted through and is collapsed. So I think it's probably okay to go to the door and look in, and but we don't want a lot of people inside the front room and going upstairs and stuff, because it's just not safe. And we would hate to see anybody get hurt. But if you really need to go in for that feeling of presence and being there, you could sort of just go in the door and look around and come back out again. That yeah, a few people, only a few people at a time. The other just perennial concern here is that we're companioned by little brown creatures called ticks, and the drought has made it that there aren't too many ticks up here. Alice and Doonan have had a good summer that way, but there are sometimes ticks up here, so check yourselves for ticks when you go. And somebody's going to have a suggestion for a song for us to end with, and then feel free to eat and mingle, and do look at the other part of the garden over there, and talk to Alice and Doonan. And I'm going to just read this. It's called I'll Fly Away. Don't get old, she tells us, as we hold her coat sleeve and she slowly plants her arm. I'm as slow as molasses, she tells us. I like molasses, says my friend, who holds her other arm. We inch the sidewalk. I try to explain how I covet this time suspension, that I just like being with her. She moves her leg a fraction into the well of the car seat, and I imagine the muscle ache. Now we are in the car, hurtling along the brook, trapped with ice. We keep going with our talk about death. When Wally died, he was in so much pain. I was glad for him to go. What comes over me? I tell her, I'm sure that when you die, Wally will be there greeting you. And there you'll be, laughing together. Suddenly I am crystal sure that it will happen like this. He will greet her, and her mother will be there, and Chuck, who was their son. A lot of people have gone before, she says. The moment I tell her about Wally's face helping her come forward into the next world, in the brush a deer flickers, 2 deer stomp, snow mist. She laughs when I tell her Native American people say that when an animal shows itself to you, it is a message.
So we decided instead of doing Down by the Riverside, we'd do I'll Fly Away.
Okay.
Channeling, so let's channel